Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the virtual show, the only late night VR podcast. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, what a busy week of VR goodness, friend.
Yeah, it's been out of control, right? Like there's just too much to play, too much to do, and it's a good problem to have. I'm not going to complain, like a lot of things, but yeah, it's been a very crazy week for sure.
Yeah, and it didn't help that I mistakenly thought that we were going to be able to cover Demio and the Wizard's Dark Times on this show. So obviously, that was the first thing I went to this week to start playing that stuff, and then realize, oh, wait a minute, we can't talk about those games until they release. So we're going to have a completely different show. But it just so happens that there's so many games to talk about that we didn't even miss a beat, right?
No, no, and yeah, we've got a video coming out pretty soon of Demio, and I'd love to talk about it, but I can't. So we'll talk about it in the near future, and yeah, so I definitely didn't miss a beat because there was other games, and we just got one yesterday, right? That we're talking about today that we didn't even have, and I'm kind of excited to talk about that as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So yeah, those of you who are interested in Demio, tune in tomorrow. We Roots and I just recorded our first gameplay in it, our first actual match in it. We did some tutorial and single player stuff through the week to become acclimated, but we just had our first real match with our friend Skiva and Mateo 311 to show us all how to actually play the game. And that video should be up tomorrow, right around the time the game launches. So for those of you who are tuning in for Demio content, never fear, it's incoming. But we said we wouldn't cover it till launch, and we are men of our word, if nothing else.
Absolutely. But one thing I will say about it, well, it's not about it, but I didn't know how cool Mateo was, bro. I met him for the first time today, and what a cool dude, right? I mean, I knew Skiva was cool, but I, you know, I couldn't have asked to hang out with two better people. I get to hang out with you all the time, so it was like a cool foursome, and I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, good times, and hope to get back in there soon with both those guys. It was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, tons to talk about. We got two awesome new releases to talk about. We've got a month of new releases to pick the winners from, which I don't know if you looked at the list, but not going to be easy. No category is going to be easy this month, which is a good sign, right, for VR as a whole.
Yeah, it's a banger, man. It's almost like we predicted this a month or two ago when we said, "Wow, it's gonna be there's gonna be so many games coming out, you're not gonna be able to catch your breath." And I feel like it's a first world problem that I enjoy having. So I say, bring on some more games. I want to have games just drop out of nowhere, like we had some of these games, like another game we can't talk about until next week, right?
Right.
The Quest version of Wizards of Dark's Time just dropped out of nowhere. So crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way it goes, right? With the VR, uh, the VR community, you never know what's going to hit any given platform at any given time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, loads to talk about. Uh, we probably shouldn't dilly dally because I've got a nice long night of editing ahead of me. So let's kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our night owls in chat. We have Techno Glitch and Mepper showing up. I am Roots, whoever the hell that is.
Hmm.
Jason Nixon says hello. Hello, Jason. Welcome. ET 2K9 now. Spry Guys in the house. And yeah, I think that is Hussein X is here. And looks like Diz is up there. We've got a few, man. We've got a few up burning the midnight oil to see what we thought of the month of April.
Yeah, it's pretty late. It's pretty late for our show, even. And I kind of, as much as it sucks for the United States people, I think it's kind of like whenever we go late, it just pushes us further into the EU time. And so I guarantee we're going to see people drop through that maybe we wouldn't see on a normal night just because we started so late. So it's kind of nice to give it back to some of those people as well. for sure. And Onikazu
Yeah.
wants to know if that's a cross-buy title, Wizards of the Wizards 2 or whatever, the Dark Times.
Uh, I'm not 100% sure. I would imagine that it is. I know that the first Wizards was, so I would imagine Dark Times probably will be as well.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine as well.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I never fret too much anymore about having to go on late because we we decided to take up the tagline, right? The title of late night VR talk show. So I mean, if we weren't on late, then we wouldn't be able to say that, would we?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'd be lying. That's for sure. And it wouldn't be out of character in this world. We'd be just like everybody else. But we aren't gonna lie. We're gonna tell the truth, and we're going to bring you some awesome VR content. So
See, so Matty Matt 2323 is joining us from Australia, and it's the afternoon there.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad it's not the afternoon because I'd be at work right now, and that'd be an awkward time to be doing a show, for sure.
Midlife Kid says hello. Welcome, Midlife Kid. Roots, why don't we just go ahead and get into it? I'm sure at least one or two people are here, are tuning in because they're curious what we thought about Star Wars Pinball. And, I have not discussed this with Roots at all. And what I can say going into this, I'm going to predict that this is going to be a tale of two platforms. Roots, having played this on the Oculus Quest, and maybe no, because it's not on the Rift Store yet. Uh, Roots having played this on Oculus Quest, and myself having played it on PlayStation VR. And I'm pretty sure that our experiences are going to be fairly different. But before we get into it, we would like to thank our good friends at Zen Studios for providing Roots and I with review access. And it's interesting, Roots, because we're kind of coming at this from a unique angle. You're a big fan of Pinball FX2 from Zen Studios VR. You've constantly raved about it pretty much the entire time that I've known you. You've been a pretty big proponent for bringing FX3 into VR, and while we haven't got that quite yet, uh, this is a pretty decent consolation prize.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's Star Wars, bro, and you get your man cave. That's the best part about it, the Star Wars man cave. Actually, that's in one way that I'll start off with a something that I wish I would have had that I asked for that I didn't get, and I'm sure it's a lot of it's the Quest 2. I was a little put off in the original FX2. Is the one thing that I said I didn't like is that I didn't want to have to change my tables. I didn't want to have three different tables and then change three different tables and then change the three different tables. Well, the good news, Wes, is I didn't have to worry about having three tables because I get one table. I want to have the whole room. I want to walk around the whole room and go from table to table. And I guess resource wise, that's probably not going to happen on the Quest. Not if you want to make everything run the way you want it to. So I'll accept the fact that it is not exactly, I mean, it's not all about Roots anyway. But yeah, how cool is this man cave, right? And it just gets better and better as you unlock stuff. You get all sorts of stuff. Now, let me
Yeah,
ask
well,
you
that
this. Did you pick light or dark side?
dark side.
Oh God, dude, I picked the light side, bro. We're going against each other, man. I don't know what's gonna happen now.
I assumed that you would pick the light side, so I took the dark side. Not that it made any difference. I don't think. Not in my limited um, time in the game. Now, I should preface this by saying that this is a first impressions discussion. I don't have major time in this game. Again, we've had a lot going on this week, but I did get my time in there when I could, and there are extenuating circumstances. We'll just say that right now that kept me out of the game probably as much as I would have played it. Um, but what I was trying to say is we're coming at this from an interesting angle because here you are, you're the Pinball FX2 guy, the VR Pinball fan, where I have never played that game, and the only thing that ever really made me want to play it at all anyway was recommendations from people like you and others who have raved about it. Um, but the one thing that particularly drew me into this game is while I'm not the biggest VR pinball guy, I am a huge Star Wars fan, and I have been for many, many years, decades even. So even if I wasn't, as hyped as you were to get into the pinball side of it, I was quite happy to delve into some Star Wars retro nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never tried FX2 because you're like one. I mean, we're similar in so many ways. Like you're a huge Back to the Future fan, and I always was as well. And that was one of the coolest parts about that FX2 was playing the Back to the Future table and the DeLorean and all that stuff. So you definitely need to get in there and check it out. And I was a bigger fan of Star Wars when I was a kid, or maybe even early a young adult than I am now. But I still thought it was cool to check out things. I have no concept of what the Mandalorian is. I have no idea. I've never watched an episode. I'll never watch an episode. I'm just past that now. But everybody else seems to be excited about it and really love it. So it must be cool. But I think it's pretty cool to have the Baby Yoda, and that's one of the only things that I feel like I missed out on Mandalorian. I never got to see Baby Yoda. I'm assuming he's a staple in that series, and um, that's about the only thing I feel sad about, I guess.
Island Kara in the chat says, "What's Star Wars?" It's this side movie a few people are into. It's kind of a nerdy thing though. So, you being the awesome cool person that you are, of course you wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah, so no, I thought these okay, so I guess we'll start with you said you played it on the PlayStation VR
That's
system,
right.
correct? Okay, so did that how was that? Like I've never tried any of the PlayStation VR versions of any of this. I don't know what to expect.
Well,
So.
before I get off on the negative parts of my experience, I want to start off by saying that I've tongue in cheek kind of trolled people a little bit over the last few weeks, kind of downplaying oh, it's only pinball,
Mm.
right? I knew it
Mhm.
wasn't going to just be pinball. But with that said, I must honestly say that I was surprised at how much I enjoyed playing the game. The gameplay aspect of it. I had forgotten how much I like pinball. Like pinball was something I used to play quite a bit growing up. It's just been so many years. Probably half my life has gone by since I've played pinball, or at least played it in any meaningful amount of time. So once I got in there and started playing it, and having these familiar triggers go off, it was as far as the sights and sounds of it all, it hooked me in pretty quickly. I didn't want to stop playing, and I wouldn't have stopped playing if it weren't for the fact that every time I would pick a table, play through a complete game, get game over, and get my score, at that point the game would crash
Ooh.
every time.
Wow. Did you look it up? Is that something that's common to the PlayStation VR? Oh, bummer, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Before we crucify Zen Studios for launching this, um, they updated today and put out a message on their socials that the patch to fix this is coming
Oh.
very soon. So I would be surprised if they didn't fix it tomorrow or the next day. So they're going to fix a lot of the performance issues that it's been having on PlayStation, and hopefully it'll run because I felt like I would have really gotten on a roll if I didn't have to boot into the game every time that I played it through a table.
Yeah, that kind of talk about friction, right? I'm only gonna do that once or twice. And what's funny is like from an average gamer, you may have not even gone as far. We'll put up with a lot. It's like I have to talk about this game, so I'm just gonna keep going in. I'll play another one. I'll play another one. It'll crash. Play another one. I don't know how many times you did it. I did not have a crash on the Quest version. Although, I guess that this is you say it's the tale of two stories. I heard it's really the tale of three stories because the PCVR version is just so from what people say, I haven't tried it, it's just so much better that it just looks so good. I thought it looked good in the Quest, but people are raving about this, and I was like, man, I want to play this on the PC now, bro. And if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, is it when it comes to Oculus, or it is coming to Oculus, right? And I guess we don't even know for
Yeah,
sure. It
yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm getting confused with another game. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm not sure. I would imagine so, that it probably will at some point come to the Oculus Rift, and it probably will be a cross-buy title.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm hoping it'll be cross-buy because I want to experience it on PC VR without having to buy it again. Dave Station throwing a $2 tip train, toot toot, out there before it gets off my screen. I don't want to forget. I appreciate
Choo
Dave.
choo.
Yeah, dude. Love me some Dave Station. And he said YouTube was lying to him, bro. He said that we weren't on. And then he came here and we were on. So I said, yeah, YouTube has a tendency to do that to people. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube has a thing against us. Just you know the time and the place, bro. Just show up. We'll be here. And yeah, thanks for the donation, Dave. We really appreciate it. And
yeah.
thanks for the sentiment. You know, Dave was going to he was going to join our Demio game earlier, but we got started while he was doing his show, so
Hmm.
he couldn't quite join when we got started. And by the time we were into it, it was a little too late.
I know. Once you told me that, I wished two things. I wish we would have found out earlier, and then I wished it was a 5-man game because I had so much fun with Skiva and Mateo, and I don't know, man. Definitely love me some Dave Station, and wish we could have got in there, but we definitely appreciate it. The sentiment, like Wes said as well.
That's what I told him, man. Is that game's so fun. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to play together. So next time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott Merrill clarifies, said it looks a lot better on Steam, which we expect. I mean, it's PCVR; they're going to have more better graphics. I thought the graphics on the how did the graphics look on the PSVR? Because I know the graphics I thought looked really good. So,
It depends on what you're looking at. Uh, if you walk around the room and you look at the decorations and the models, they're all very good looking on PlayStation VR. And just for the record, I played this game on PlayStation 5 with my PSVR headset. But if you walk around the room and look at stuff, it's all very clear, all very detailed, impressive looking stuff. Now, if you walk out to the patio doors and you look outside, there's a nice looking model out there of a walker. I forget if it's an ATST or which one it was, but there's a walker sitting just outside the window. But if you look a little further out, there's some trees and foliage out there. That stuff very much look like Oculus Quest trees and foliage. Luckily, this is stuff off in the distance, not really anything that you're going to look at unless you're just looking for it. With regards to the tables, it was they looked really good, but I had a bit of a problem with like clarity at distance. So like the tables look really good, like the front half to two-thirds of the table look really good and clean, clear, detailed. But like the stuff at the main back, the bonus stuff, the stuff you really want to be able to zone in and focus on when you can finally get your ball up in that stuff. That stuff a little bit low res, kind of hard to track the ball. Now I don't know if that's something that they could improve upon. And obviously the hardware is dated and has limitations. But I feel like if this game gets a PlayStation 4 Pro patch or a PlayStation 5 patch, that's certainly something that can be improved upon. And knowing the quality of work that Zen Studios does, that's something that I would fully expect in time.
absolutely. And I didn't notice that on the Quest version, so I'm assuming it is the like you said, limitations of the hardware. But it should, I would expect it to be patched as well. ET2K9 also saying all aboard on the tip train for $5. We appreciate it. The money as well. And we said this last time, but we really do have the goods coming for the channel, bro. I just saw a little bit of it
Oh,
today. Super excited, and man, dude, it's all you guys, dude. And you guys all supported. That makes me so happy, man. We didn't have to go out of pocket because you guys are so good, and I just can't wait to do the changes. It's gonna be cool.
yeah, I assure you that your money is going to good use. They don't know yet, Roots, what we're spending it on. That this is Patreon information.
Ooh.
Um, but I will say this: those of you who are subscribed to our Patreon, and if you haven't checked it out in the last week, log in because there's a brand new money show on there for one. Roots and I dive into Loco Dojo and talk about some interesting topics. But in addition to that, there was a very interesting insider update that I posted today that is kind of showing you guys the first little bit of where your money is going. So it's something we're super excited about and something that we look forward to being able to share with everyone very soon.
Yeah, I wish it was a 30/90 for each of us, but no, sadly not. Um, but somebody actually asked a good question, Wes, and it really has to do with this conversation. What did you play from in the table or on top of the table?
It was on top of the table, but like very close up. I didn't know I could get in the table.
Yeah, I think if you hit the X button or one of the buttons, it actually gets you into the table, and now you're like in it. Like it's a totally different view, which is pretty cool. Unless you accidentally bumped it, which some people did, and had no idea what the hell was happening. I can imagine that was very confusing and jarring. But it was really cool.
No, I don't think I would have went into the table even if I could have. First of all, it'll make it very difficult to play, and second of all, I kind of enjoyed being able to take in all of the animations. Right, there's lots of stuff going on depending upon which table that you're using. There's stuff going on in the room around you. There's little characters moving around inside the actual table, both up front and toward the back of the table. There's a lot going on, and to be honest, it can be quite distracting when the ball gets held up in a trap or something for a moment, and you don't know when it's going to shoot out. But then there's this cool animation or movie clip playing over here that you want to watch. Uh, you know, I don't know about you, but I was uh, uh, torn because I really wanted to pay attention to some of this stuff, but I didn't really feel like I could safely.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, it disappeared, and I'm like, where did my ball go? And all of a sudden, this lightsaber, zoom, and it comes down the lightsaber. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about, with FX2, or I guess with the Star Wars pinball, or any of the VR pinball for that matter. You're just getting an experience that you could never get in a regular pinball game. Now, people could argue which is superior, but it's different. There's no way you could have this experience outside of VR, which is why we love VR, right? And I don't know, did you try all the tables? Because I only tried a couple, but I need to get back in there and try some of the other ones. But I did try the Mandalorian one, and I did think Baby Yoda was adorable, and I still won't be watching it.
Yeah, I tried five of the tables. I didn't get to all of them. Again, every time I would play one, it would crash and throw me out of the
Oh,
game.
yeah.
And I knew when I was playing that the patch was coming. I knew it was going to do that when I went into the game. It wasn't a surprise to me.
Okay.
Um, so no, I haven't played them all yet, but I played the original trilogy, and those were my favorite. Those and the Masters of the Force. I really enjoyed all of those. The Return of the Jedi, probably visually and sound effects wise, was probably my favorite out of all of them. But at the same time, it was probably the most difficult one that I played. Maybe it was just bad luck, but I didn't do as well on that one.
Maybe you were just distracted by all the coolness, right? Um,
Maybe.
yeah, I think that's probably a good. I mean, at least for me, I was distracted a lot as well. But no, I really enjoyed it. Now, I did notice. So this is so far, and I don't know if anybody in the chat or in the comments can let us know if there's any other differences. But we were talking about whether it made a difference for the light or the dark side. I know that there's those all those models and stuff hanging. There's like the fleets above you, and I guess as you play more on one side or another, you start to build, and you start to, like, I'm assuming your fleet's going to take over the other bro. I'd like to see your
Right.
dark side come against my light side, dude. They ain't winning, dude. Light side always wins.
Hey, dude, do not underestimate the power of the dark side.
That's right. Well, I mean, that was one of the things that I thought would have been cool, is if the emperor came out and started shocking me or something. But I didn't see that.
Unlimited power.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Gamer Chick 13 says sometimes the bonus mini games would poop me back out several feet away from the table, and my ball would sink before I could pause the game and recenter. Um, that happened to me once, but I don't know what the controls are on the Quest 2. The PlayStation version, it's fairly easy to recenter. You just press in the right thumbstick and plop, you're right back where you need to be.
I didn't get any of the mini games, so I didn't know. I thought they were all a conspiracy theory, and they weren't true. I never saw them, bro. So I don't even know how to unlock them. I was kind of bummed out because I wanted to ride on the speeder, right? Because I've seen that in the trailer where you can like be on the indoor or whatever. I guess I'm assuming.
Yep,
So
that's right, indoor.
yeah. So I need to get into some
You
mini
just gotta
games,
keep
Wes.
playing. You just gotta keep playing. It just happens naturally. Like anything with pinball, there's a quite a bit of random chance involved with it. But you just got to be able to sustain your games out longer, and eventually, the stuff will happen for you.
Look at baby Yoda. He's so cute. Now, did you mess with the jukebox at all? I thought that was pretty cool how you can unlock like different songs and stuff. Like not necessarily songs, but sound bites and just a lot of nostalgia, right? For a Star Wars fan. I would imagine for someone like you, this was like really cool to just go in this room and check all this stuff out, right?
Yeah, that I really enjoyed the novelty of it. And oddly enough, the jukebox was the one thing I didn't mess with. I decorated my walls, put posters up, selected which models I want, mess with my collectible shelves over there. The one thing I didn't mess with was that jukebox. And it's kind of weird. I don't know why I didn't mess with it because probably my favorite or one of my favorite things about this game were the sound bites. That's what really threw me back was the sound of Star Wars, right? It's a very recognizable sound, whether it be the blasters or the music or even the voice acting, which you know, even though they were reciting lines from the movies, it wasn't original audio from the movies. They hired voice actors to do this, and they were all very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Definitely really cool. Now, I don't know if you ever tried any of these pinball tables originally, but when they were some of these tables exist, right, in real life, I'm assuming,
I'm not sure if
or was it
they
just another game brought into VR?
yeah, there was a Star Wars pinball game, flat
Okay,
already, and I think six out of the tables were from that, and then the others were custom made for the VR game.
okay, cool. Well, I got one better than all those people that played the OG flat version. I got freshy all across the board, and you guys only got a couple of tracks. But I'm assuming just getting into VR and being able to play these games or these tables, even if you'd played them before flat, would still blow you away. So it's just really cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine that this game would be nearly as good flat. Like, I mean, I'm sure that it would be fun. Pinball's pinball, but I mean, come on, man, you got to have that depth uh, to the view to really feel like you're playing pinball, which I did. I felt like I was playing pinball, which surprised me because, you know, PlayStation, this game doesn't even have move support on PlayStation. You have to play with the DualShock. So my hands are tethered together. I always felt like to be immersed by a VR pinball game, I would need a table to lean into. Not the case. I felt perfectly fine playing this with a gamepad.
Yeah, I think that's just like anything else, right? Like as long as you can get into the game, it doesn't matter what or how you're standing or sitting or what you're using. We've had the same thought process from some people with Resident Evil 7 without ever trying it. They say there's no way I could get immersed with the controller. You and I know that it has nothing to do with the controller, especially in that game. So it's kind of the same thing with here. Although I would say I would submit it would be a little bit more immersive with two touch controllers, at least spaced out. But apparently not. I mean, you seem to have gotten just as immersed. So
Yeah, well, I mean, you're using triggers anyway, so I don't feel like it made that big of a difference. Now, if they had like in-game controls, like buttons on the thing that you were using your in-game hands to press, there might be a difference there. But that's not how it is, right? You're just using triggers.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think it's the responsiveness, Wes, of the buttons and everything. It's so snappy and it feels just like regular pinball that and everything's like pinball is so it's one of those games that you get in a flow, right? And you're hitting pop, pop, and it's bouncing and you don't even realize how I mean, I could sit there for an hour probably and just keep playing and not, you just get lost in it and everything just flows, right? And you get on a run. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. The sights and sounds of playing pinball are very accurately represented in this game, to the point that it's kind of burned in our brains right from our youth, when we were really putting time in on these things. So yeah, I feel like if the game hadn't repeatedly crashed, that I very easily could have achieved flow state playing this.
Yeah, well, it's coming. It's coming soon, Wes. Now, are you gonna you got this on PlayStation VR? Are you going to play it on Quest or PC VR at all? Or I mean, obviously,
Well, I think if I could catch it on a sale, I think it would be worth picking up just for the clarity of the LCD panel. I feel like the clarity of the LCD panel would really be a big plus here. And to be quite honest, if I could get it on Steam and play it in
G2.
my G2,
Yeah.
you know, that would be outstanding. Or even, playing it via virtual desktop with the 120 hertz feature would be something I'd like to try as well.
Yeah, that's what somebody was saying earlier that they would love to play this in 120 hertz, and I would also agree. Anything with things moving that fast, right? Would definitely benefit with 120 hertz, and it's not graphically that intensive unless it's on the OG PlayStation VR. But
Well, I mean, they could patch this thing out. The PlayStation VR headset can do 120. The panel is
that's
capable of
true.
it. Although there aren't many games that take advantage of it, it is a possibility. So I'd like to see them maybe try to tune it up. After they get the initial bugs and kinks worked out of it. When they bring us our PlayStation 5 patch, if they ever bring it to us, I would like to see some high frame rate options there, because I mean I feel like it's detailed enough already, with the exception of the distance, which is something again that I feel like a proper PS4 Pro patch would resolve fairly easily.
Yeah, I agree. Scott Merrill says the game is very addictive or addicting, and it is. It's why I love the pinball, man. And it's why I love the FX2, and I do want to see all those FX3 games being brought into VR. So if you haven't picked this game up, pick it up because that's the only way they're going to hear the message. Damn it, we need to bring them all in today because FX3 has so many tables, Wes, and there's so many unique tables, and they've got all the what is it, the Williamsons or what? What's the one that like the tables that are like real tables brought into
Yeah, yeah, I think they are Williams.
yeah, and everybody loves those, so I'd love to see those for sure.
Yeah, that's the kind of the draw of FX3, right? Is it's got the real tables in it, like stuff that you've played, stuff you're familiar with,
Yeah,
and it's endless, right? Endless DLC possibility with something like that.
yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I hopefully with this, there's still more that they'll add to it as well. But I don't know if there's. I mean, what else would they add series wise? Is there anything else out there that's not in here?
I don't know. I'm going to call for my modders out there to get on it. Get us FX3 in VR. That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude, if you can bring GTA 5 into VR, why can't you bring FX3 in there?
Right,
Somebody can
right.
do it.
Ion the icon says Tetris Effects got me, dude. It'll totally grab you. Like every board, if you're doing the journey mode, every board better than the last one, and then right that last string there, so intense. And for those of you who have never played it, that's right. I just said a Tetris game is intense because it is.
It is. It's very distracting. They want you to not pay attention to the Tetris. That's one of the best games that I've played in a long time as far as that goes. So definitely worth picking up. And Scion VR is joining the conversation, and he resents the conversation or the comment from Spry Guy. We were theorizing that Scion wasn't here and there was no thumb down. It's like, coincidence? I don't know.
um, yeah. So I don't know, Roots. What is this? Is it $25 game?
I think it is. I think it's 24.95, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that though. Let me see what Steam says about it.
What do you think? Worth 25?
Um, I think it is for a Star Wars fan, and I think for somebody that loves pinball. I mean, for me it would be, but I think I would rather see it for $20. Um, but I always say that, right?
Yeah, that was always kind of been my thing with it is there's a lot of novelty here, and there's better gameplay than I gave it credit for initially. It's certainly addictive, certainly something that you're going to spend a lot of hours in playing if you like pinball at all. Um, so I'm not going to get mad at anybody for paying $25 for it, but I'm with you. I feel like $20 probably a bit more of a reasonable price for
I
it.
think $20 it sells all day. 25 it stops you. It's like, ooh,
Mm,
you know.
let me add a caveat to that as well. Um, if it turns out that this does launch on the Rift store and it's cross buy, I think $25 is a perfect price for
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah, because you're getting two copies, you're getting both versions. Absolutely.
They're, oh, they're all, it's $30. Is that what they're
No,
saying?
no, 30 is somebody asked right after about Demio. It is
Okay.
$25. I verified it. It's 25.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I think if they're going to do cross buy on the Oculus platform, that 25 is perfect. Otherwise, I would like to have seen a launch sale or something with it.
But if
Which
you look,
I guess if you bundle it, you can get a pretty good deal.
yeah, it's true. Well, and that's one of the things too about FX2. And now that I think about it, I think it was $25 and you only got three tables and you had to buy expansions and you know what I mean? So they're giving you way more than they did with the last title. I mean, they're giving you kind of FX2 with all the expansions for $25. You know, that's because FX2 you had to buy each expansion. So you are getting a lot of tables. So but I agree. For cross buy, absolutely $25. Roots is cheap ass, would rather pay 20. And thank God because they gave us a copy. I didn't have to pay anything. So what am I complaining
Well,
for?
and again, if I catch it on sale, I'll probably buy it again, right?
Yeah,
Because again, I'd like to see it on PC.
yeah. Yeah, and Scion's smart. He says he doesn't hit the like button until he's finished the VS video because it may not be good, right? You might not like it. We might trash some. It's like, I'm not liking
He
that
wants to
crap.
make sure we at least say one thing about PCVR before he gives us the thumbs up.
That's true. That's true. Well, PCVR thumbs up is good. We like it. And there you go,
Well,
Scion.
I'll say this to you though, Sion. You can go ahead and press it because it's game of the month. So we're going to talk about at least five PCVR games. Here's the caveat: uh, four of them are cross-platform.
Well, you got your one, right? But Traveling Man wants to know if we know how much Dark Times will be, and that I do not know how much it'll be. Do you by chance?
I think it launched for 30 on PC. I would imagine it's probably going to be $30 on
Okay.
the Quest store as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, the PC VR version that I played was amazing. And I can't imagine, without being able to talk about it, that the Quest version isn't just as amazing.
Yeah. Well, plenty to say on that. Plenty to say on that. So stay tuned. I guess that'll be a topic next week. We'll give you the lowdown on the Wizards Dark Times for Quest next week.
Yeah, okay, so Onikazi says FX2 VR is 15. Was it always 15 or is that the price now? Maybe that was the I thought could have sworn it was $25 back then, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I'd be surprised if it's always been 15, but
Yeah, I don't know.
again, you did say it was just three tables, so I mean, maybe it was always just 15.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, let's move on because again, we do have game of the month to get around to. But before we do that, one more game I wanted to talk a little bit about. Um, and it's interesting, Roots, because I mean, if you would have asked me a month ago if I would be sitting here giving my impressions of VR pinball, I probably would have said, "Nah, no way, man." Uh, Now, if you would have asked me a month ago, right after the reveal trailer launched for Zombieland Headshot Fever, if I was going to be sitting here giving first impressions of this game, I would have said no, probably not. Because let's be honest, the trailer for this game really doesn't do much favors. My impressions of the trailer was is that this looked like a dated VR game to me. It looked like something that we may have liked in 2016 or 2017, but it didn't look like something that would be launching in the year 2021. Now, that said, having played it, the standalone version, by the way, I did not play the PCVR version. I only played this on Oculus Quest. Having played it, I can honestly say that that trailer does it no justice. Um, this game was very surprising to me, not only in how fun it was to play, but how good it looks in the headset. I was surprised just how good this thing looks in the headset. You know, again, judging by the footage that I saw of it, I thought that this was going to for sure have dated looking graphics in it, but not at all, man. I was really surprised.
Yeah, no, I was kind of expecting the same thing myself. You know, but until I would have expected not even to try it unless people like Gamertag were raving about how good it was, right? And you know what's funny, Wes, is I played maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I'd stopped and then was, uh, gonna do the show, and I thought, I should go back in for some more. Now, if I would have not gone back in and played more, I would have completely said a completely different thing because I got to like two or three more levels and things were moving fast. Shit was running at me super fast. I had all sorts of things being thrown at me. It was a completely different, like in the beginning, it was a little slow, just like any other game, right? And I thought, okay, this is pretty cool, but I wasn't like I was blown away, right? But after playing more, it got way better, and I did get more into it. And I wonder why this rich dude is like, I'm going down, I'm shooting zombies, and he's just standing there, just chilling, watching me, bro. Because I know there's a competition he's throwing, but it's not very safe. These zombies are pretty volatile, and they're trying to kill me, Wes.
Yeah.
So.
So let's take a step back really quick here before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Um, so again, judging by the launch trailer for this thing or the reveal trailer, I was not very impressed with the look of the game. That's why I was so surprised when I saw Gamertag VR's review of the game, and he was very positive, very high on it. And any of you who subscribe to GT's channel know, if anything, that guy's honest, and he's going to tell you what he thinks about a game. And he was so impressed with this game that, as many of you know, he went on to become the community manager for it. So, right off the top here, big thank you to GT. Big thank you to the people at XR Games for providing us with review copies of this game. Um, Now, getting into the gameplay, this, in essence, is an arcade style rail shooter. And it's about as textbook a case of arcade style rail shooter as you can get. Uh, what's really surprising about it, though, is how nuanced and strategy based the gameplay is, right? Because it's not just about running through and shooting. It is at first. At first, it's all about reflexes, but in essence, what you're doing here is trying to chase leaderboards, and to really move up the leaderboards, you have to plan out a sequence of how you're going to attack these levels. You have to plan out your loadout. It has perks like Crashland has, which also affects ultimately the way you make it through a level. And the name of the game here is complete the courses in the shortest amount of time possible. And there are things that you can do by the way you attack, which stops and slows down the clock. So that's the name of the game here. Attack the level in such a way that you don't let the clock move. And a lot of times that's easier said than done, huh?
I just, well, especially when things are going, when you get past a certain point, and what's funny is I just started advanced, dude. Like the second thing, and these things are like flying at me. And I don't care if they're cartoony looking zombies or not. When this thing's coming in your face, I'm not even gonna go there. When the zombie is running at you into your face, it's like so creepy, bro. Like, and now I'm like trying to shoot fast, and I've unlocked the shotgun. And so now I've got the shotgun, and the shotgun, you have your special weapon, you have limited bullets, right? So you kind of have to save. You can't just go willy-nilly with this stuff, but the other pistol I can, and so I'm going crazy. I like the reload as well. Like you just have to push down on the joystick and it drops the clip. And if you do it in the right spot, it automatically will load it. You don't even have to put it back down. You can just have it'll load it real quick. And but I'm constantly bam bam bam. And you get into this panic mode where you just want to shoot and spray, but you can't because you need the double tap. And that was what's kind of cool is they stayed true to the series of the movie, and they kept the double tap, right? So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So what Roots is referring to here is the most common mechanic that you can use to stop the clock is by hitting two headshots in sequence really quick on the same zombie. So you shoot a zombie in the head, it doesn't drop it immediately, but you have a short period of time that if you hit it in the head again without missing, then it will slow the clock down. Now, that's called a double tap. And by stringing those double taps together, you can lengthen the amount of time that the clock slows down for, as well as increase your score multiplier. Um, so, yeah, what you're saying here is absolutely true. I stayed on my handgun 95% of the time. And I use my special weapons for special circumstances. There are there are enemies that are stronger than others. There are groups, that certain weapons are good at handling groups. Again, it's all about the strategy. And not only is there a good arsenal of weapons that apply nuance to your strategy, all of your weapons are upgradable. So as you're making your way through these courses, you're collecting toilet paper of all things, and you use this toilet paper to buy upgrades for your weapons, which again further enhances the strategic value of the gameplay.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, Wes, because in an apocalyptic time, toilet paper reigned supreme. We all learned that last year. And that's what he even says, it's worth more than gold in that reality. And so yeah, it makes sense to trade toilet paper for guns, but that's kind of the currency, I guess. So
Now, I already talked about how good the game looks inside the headset. Were you as impressed as I was with uh, in the Oculus Quest version, just how good the character models look?
yeah, yeah, they look so good, similar um to the people in real life, right? Or as far as the actors. One of the things that didn't surprise me was the Woody Harrelson's voice act. Well, actually, I guess it did because at first I was put off by it. Like that doesn't sound like him at all. But the more I listened to it, it was actually kind of close. I was like, it's a lot
Yeah.
closer than I thought. And they did. I think the acting was pretty good. They did a pretty good
You know,
job of portraying
you know what I kept thinking as I was playing through this, and I got more and more acclimated to it.
Twinkies.
Is
No.
that these guys that did this Zombieland game pretty much did what we expected we would get from Onslaught, and they did it better. Like this is what Onslaught was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a multiplayer arcade style zombie game based on a well known IP. Only Roots, I would say that this game on Oculus Quest 2 looks better than the Onslaught did on PC, and it plays way better.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the tale that I'm learning is somehow, some way we put Servios up on this platter or on this platform, and maybe they're not up there, bro. I mean, it sounds harsh, but I just for me, every single game that they've brought out, it just wasn't what I would have wanted out of that game. Not that they were bad games, they just weren't good games. Zombie Dad. So and that's one of the things you can't hit. The big was the big homers, right? They call them. If you get a
Yeah.
5 second penalty, bro, that's not good. A lot of time.
Well, the good thing about it is, though, is I mean, it's good and bad at the same time. Is it's easy to restart your level. So I'm one of these people who, every time you enter into a level, you have a set of objectives, right? So, like most leaderboard chaser type games, Crash Land, good example of this. You can play it one of two ways. You can play it for high score, or you can play it for objectives. Um, the problem is as you knock off most of it, I tend to restart a lot when I probably could have just played through and got a new high score, right?
Yeah, no, I don't restart. I mean, I will if I'm really competitive, and it gets to a point. It's like with Audica or whatever, once you get to a certain point, like you can't mess up, and if you mess up, you're like, what's the point? Like I'm trying to beat this score. There's no reason to go through it. So for someone like you, I mean, even if you're not like this game is designed to chase the leaderboard, but even if it wasn't, Wes is going to be chasing the leaderboard. That's just what he does, and he's a very competitive person, right? So and I didn't
Well,
find
here's the
any of
thing
the
about
stuff. Did you find any stuff? Sunglasses, any
uh,
of that stuff?
yeah, I found everyone that I've looked for.
Oh God, I didn't look for it. I guess I just wanted to get through the level.
Yeah, you can't. If you have a hard time finding that stuff, you really have to play through it once without trying to beat your quickest time, right? Just paying attention to things in the room
Yeah.
because they're just laying around in the rooms,
Okay.
and you have to shoot them. So,
Well, I just always wondered, like, I'm in this room and zombies are coming to kill me, and you want me to get you a pair of fucking sunglasses, bro? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, my life is on the line here. A little put off by it.
but no, I enjoyed it. This, uh, at its core essence, is a precision shooter, which is what I like. And my whole thing with restarting the level is, this is the type of game that I get better at very quickly. And after I played a little bit, I become kind of a perfectionist. So like, I'll miss a shot that I feel like, I shouldn't have missed that. I can make it to this point of the level easy without missing. So I'll restart, and then I'll get in there again and do the same shit again, and it gets on my nerves because I know I can do better. So I'm really bad for restarting the level based on that. I just have this weird thing where I know I can do better, and I won't accept anything less.
Wow. Wow. Traveling Man says Woody's brother did the voice acting for Woody Harrelson, which I did not know that. That's kind of cool. And that his dad was a hitman for the mob in real life. Man, you know some trivia about Woody Harrelson, bro. And he was in Cheers. Did you know that? I knew that. See, that's something I did know. I didn't know any of that other stuff though.
Well, I did not know that.
That's pretty cool.
Techno Glitch says Larcenauts, and I really wanted to try to hold that one for Sunday. Um, it's not Farpoint 2, is it, huh?
No. No, but for people that love Overwatch, they don't give a fuck about Farpoint 2. They think this is going to be, I think it's going to be big. But I guess we'll talk about it more on Sunday in depth. Larcenauts, you heard it here. Wes is going to be talking about how it's not Farpoint 2, and Ruuts is going to be talking about how he may get to be a healer in a VR game. And that excites me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't mean that at all. Not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Not what I was hoping it would be.
Yeah, well, there's no reason that they still can't do it, but um, it just kind of does take a little wind out of the sails, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I mean, there's so many other good things, though. I didn't let it get me down too long. And again, it's probably going to be an amazing game. I just hope that people buy it and play it because, when you go multiplayer, full multiplayer in VR, uh, you're gambling, right?
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like it's like the pop one, right? It's because it's a genre, because Overwatch is so big, and because this game, from what people say, I've never played Overwatch, but people say it's very similar, that they're probably hoping on that, especially with so many people coming into VR. And as long as they can hitch themselves to that train and get that word of mouth that this is the Overwatch of VR, I think they have a shot. But it's all going to be about gameplay. So hopefully, it's as good as people think it's going to be. So
Well, they did a great job with Farpoint, not only in the story-based campaign, but in the co-op and versus multiplayer modes as well. So
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be great.
yeah.
Anyway, I think we got a definite recommend here with the Zombieland game, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have, like I said, even if I had not gone back in, I might have said, "Oh, it's pretty cool," but I wouldn't have been able to definitively say like it ramped up in difficulty so fast that it actually became a challenge to me. And then it was like it just got better. It got better within two levels, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." So definitely for $20, it's definitely worth the price of admission, for sure.
Yeah, I concur 100%. And it's a great looking and playing game on Oculus Quest 2, um, which we can't always say with some other games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's weird about this one, Wes, is like was shelved for so long, right? I guess it'd been around for a while, and I guess they were just waiting for the right time to release it. And boy, was this the right time to release it.
For
You know,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, good, good. By the way, for those of you interested, it does have a seated mode as well, which is how I played it, and it's cool, man, because it's comfortable to play seated, and it helps with reloading. Like your hands are right where they need to be to reload. You don't have to move very far when you're seated to reload your weapon.
yeah. I didn't. I played standing. I might have to try sitting down. See if I can cheat like Wes just said he did. Actually, no. I actually admitted that I've kind of figured the same thing out. It's just not as easy in my lap as standing up. You just put it at your stomach, but if you can get your hand right in that spot, like Wes said, as soon as you push it down, it's already reloading instead of having to, put it down. And my thing is, Wes, I'm constant. I think I'm dropping too quickly. I'm just always trying to reload, and uh,
Yeah, that was a lesson I learned the hard way because that's like my thing, right? I always reload after every shot in just about any game, and that's a no-no here, right?
yeah, you got to double tap. Can't double tap if you're reloading. I screwed myself many times, and I had to learn the hard way as well. But I did figure it out, and I did get better at it. So
Yeah, yeah, I did too. My chair that I use is it has arms on it, so like if I set my arms down on the armrest, it puts the controller right where you need to pick up the clip. So I'll just pick it up, shoot, 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 and then rest and hit the thumbstick while I'm resting, and it just reloads automatically.
yeah. Well, it's definitely a good system, and I think I should have done it sitting down for sure. Um, but
So anyway, recommend that all of you who enjoy arcade style shooters give this one a shot. You're going to find that the gameplay has a lot more to it than it looks at first glance.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, Roots. So that is going into the game of the month discussion for April. And unlike a lot of months, we have a full list for every platform this month. And I don't think we have any gimmies.
No, no, there's no gimmies. Although, there's gonna be personal preference creeping in here. I think, in the last two categories, I think PlayStation VR. Well, I don't own it, but it's a little bit more weird to me because some of the titles like I've never tried Alvo. I have no idea. Um, but
Well, I guess well, let's start with that. Let's start with Alvo. This was released on the 13th of April from Martin Pole, and Alvo's had become a bit of a myth or a legend in the PlayStation VR community. Based on it's one of those games like Golem that was just in development for so long. It was in development for years, and then it got canceled, and then the project was resurrected, and finally these guys ended up making it to launch. And what can I say? Despite being a very high price game, despite being a multiplayer only game, uh, I got to say that their launch was a very much a success. A lot of people bought this game. A lot of people are still playing it. Uh, Many people are hooked on it, and yeah, there haven't been very many negative things to say about Alvo.
okay, have you had a chance to check it out? I know I obviously I can't because I don't have PlayStation VR,
No,
but
I have not been in Alvo yet. I do have it. I picked it up to play with someone specifically, but you know how things go. Very busy, and we haven't gotten around to it yet. But I'm certainly going to play it. And you know how we do these game of the month selections anyway. When it comes to the games that we haven't played yet, we just basically go by reviews, what other reviewers that we respect say about the game, and we basically make our choices based on popular opinion.
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Tends to be the case more times than not with PlayStation VR is that we're just basically going by what Without Parole and a few other places say about those versions of these games.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good. It was a good success, huh?
But yeah, considering where they came from and what this game is, I would say so.
Now, one of the biggest things I would think is, at least what I've heard, is the price point is what put off some people, right? Not the
Yeah,
game, not the gameplay, but just it's so expensive. What is it, $40?
$40.
Okay, yeah, it's a little pricey for 2021 for, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's been they've been working on it for several years, so maybe they felt like they needed to charge $40 for it to make it profitable.
Yeah, and it's quite polished. It's another aim controller title, which is something PlayStation needed desperately, and they continue to update it. Uh, People did have some complaints when it first came out, but I mean they were quick to resolve them.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters, right? I mean, you might have a problem, but you need to fix it. So,
Yeah, and they continue to work on this game. It's going to get a PC launch as well, and that's when we're really going to see what this game is made of because it's going to feature cross-platform multiplayer, and it's going to be taking on those well-known PC uh, multiplayer games that everyone knows and loves. Your Pavlovs, your Onwards, your Contractors. It's going to have a lot more competition once it gets to PC land. So when that happens, we're finally going to get to see what this game is really worth.
yeah, well, and I guess from what Meow Meow the Gamer Cat says, they had heard in Discord of Without Parole that it was starting to be a little bit less active now in Alvo recently. So hopefully that would help boost some of the games as well. 'Cause I mean, you need more than just one community, in my opinion, especially with it's not like there isn't Firewall Zero Hour. That's like the biggest game on PlayStation VR, right? So that had to have had some of the gaming pool um, try it, and then they go back to their love of Firewall.
Yeah, if their lobbies are starting to wane, it's news to me. From the last I heard, you don't hardly have to ever wait for a game. Now, with that said, um, they're going to have a hard time persisting, right? Because players are going to fall off. And again, with a $40 cost of entry, it's going to be kind of difficult to bring in new players. The people that wanted this game pretty much have it now, right?
Yeah. Well, my prediction is it won't be $40 for that long, or eventually they'll have to start cannibalizing the price if it, you know what I mean? Just try to get anybody in. It's just the same MO, space junkies, whatever, and hopefully they didn't screw themselves by pricing themselves too high at the beginning. And like you said, everybody that wanted it has it, and maybe it just gets to a point where they just don't care anymore once it's cheaper. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot's going to hinge on how successful they are getting PC players in there, I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
I
For
mean, that
sure.
could really save the day if they could have a successful PC launch.
Yeah, well, I know. I for one would like to try the game just because, like I've said before, I've not seen a game that had actual perks, or like being able to send drones out, or dogs, or airstrikes, or whatever else that you get to bring in there. That's like the first game that I've seen of that nature that's brought that in, and it seems like the closest to Call of Duty for that reason, anyway. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those games for sure, and it's a lot faster paced than the ones we're used to playing.
yeah, well, I always loved those. I mean, I loved Call of Duty. That's what was my jam back in the day. It was it's just the fast paced games. You might die a bunch, but you're gonna kill a bunch. So it kind of evens
Yeah,
out.
Drew says he has it, but he didn't pay for it. Yeah, that's me. I have it, but I didn't buy it. I'm like $40. Nah, probably
It's
not.
expensive, bro.
But maybe it's worth it. I can't really say,
That's
but I
true.
know people are enjoying it. That's really all I know.
Well, that's all that matters. I mean, the price of admission is subjective anyway, but being that it's a multiplayer game, that only my only concern is the player pool. Yeah. So
Then we moved on the 20th, 420, to Mask Maker. This came to us from Inner Space VR, and this is an interesting one, Roots, because this was one of my favorite releases of the month on PC. But apparently, it's a different experience on PlayStation. Technical issues apparently really held this one back.
really, have they been working on it, or is it something that is still issues? Or do
Yeah,
you know?
not that I've heard of. No, now that said, I haven't really been keeping up with the PlayStation news on Massmaker, but it definitely had a lot of frame drops and performance issues when it launched, and wasn't the most popular game on PlayStation last month. It was really it got mixed reviews. It was like some people loved it, like you and I, we loved it, and then other people didn't really care much for it at all.
I guess it depends on what you're looking for in the game, right? I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I did too. But again, we weren't playing it on PlayStation. We played it on PC, and it ran and looked beautiful on PC.
Yeah, it did.
Then, of course, 429 brought us Star Wars Pinball VR, and much like Massmaker, and even to a larger extent, a highly anticipated title that a lot of people liked, but on PlayStation, hampered with performance issues and other various bugs.
Yeah. Well, it seems like things are evening out, man. People are their performances are already nixing them out of the game of the month. I can't see that being the case that we would make that if it's having performance issues, it should be the game of the month. Well, what
Yeah,
about
I feel like this one would have a lot better shot if it didn't crash every time you try to play it.
it's kind of a problem. What about did you ever I'm assuming you've tried the next game, right? You've been playing that, right?
A
Or no?
little
A
bit,
little.
yeah, a
Okay.
little bit. Layers of Fear VR came also on 42921, and surprisingly, Roots, this was not the PC VR version of the game. apparently they have ported over the Oculus Quest version of Layers of Fear VR to the PlayStation.
Oh, that's weird. I don't remember that ever happening. So, what was your verdict? Was it you don't seem too thrilled about that decision?
Uh, I mean, it's still a good game. It still does a good job of building atmosphere, which is really what it's all about. This is a very slow paced walking simulator type game. You can't die in it. It's all about the experience and making it through it, unfolding the story, and all of that's still there. But it is a little bit immersion breaking because it wasn't the most beautiful game on earth to begin with on PC, and to have it really, watered down on PlayStation, I felt like they could probably have done a better job bringing this into PlayStation if they had really wanted to. They could have brought us an experience that's much more akin to the PC version, but that's not what they did here.
So what? How was it received on PlayStation? I mean, I'm assuming people weren't too happy about it then, or what?
Uh, uh yeah. Really the only review I caught of it was without parole, and Brian liked it, much like me. You know, he's got similar tastes to that I do. So I mean, he enjoyed his time in it, but again, he expected a better looking game as well. So
Yeah.
he played through it. He liked it. The other guys, I don't think, were quite as convinced as he was, and I can understand why as well. Again, it's not a beautiful game, and it's very slow paced.
Yeah. Yeah, Drew says he played the Quest version. It's 7 out of 10, 4 hour haunted house with an interesting story, and it looks like crap. I'm
Well,
paraphrasing.
I mean, all everything you said was true there on the PC version. Only instead of looking like crap, it looked like garbage. No, I'm just kidding. It looked okay. It was an average looking game. It shows its age even on PC. Like you can tell that this game is years old on PC.
Yeah.
Um, Now, with that said, if this game really didn't appeal to you, I've heard some people uh, express some trepidation about Blair Witch VR based on their experience in Layers of Fear. I will say that these are two totally different games, not only in how they look, but in the gameplay style. Um, so I wouldn't judge one based on the other. Basically, what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Delirium Drew says he liked the story, but didn't look that good. But yeah. So it sounds like something I might want to try on PC if I want to try it out someday.
Yeah, Diz the Game Cat says AJ did not like Layers of Fear at all. Well, look, it's again, it's slow pace, and you're basically just exploring to uncover pieces of the story, which means you're looking through a lot of drawers and basically just trying to find things to read. A lot of the game's reading, and it's not even like full motion controls. Like it's one of these things where you look at the thing and the icon pops up and you push a button to open it. It's kind of like a half VR, half flat game, if you will.
Okay. Well,
I,
must
I
be
like it, but I just like it based on the story and some of the trippy sequences that take place later in the game.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Spry Guy says he thought it was good for the most part, so I'll take that to the bank. Seems to be good enough to play. I mean, we got people are saying that it's worth playing through. It just depends on whether
It's a
you
good
want.
game. No,
Yeah.
it's a good game, but again, I prefer it on PC, and we're talking about PlayStation here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not a good thing, right? Okay. Cool. Well, that's it. That's
So
it for PlayStation VR, right?
yeah, that's it for April. I mean, there was the Alt Deus thing that came out, but I don't really consider that a game, so I didn't include it.
How crazy
There,
is it that Alvo wins by default without even really talking about it because every other game had issues, right?
yeah, I think Alvo does win by default here. I think that I think that we should probably reserve a uh,
spot.
to look at Star Wars Pinball later, based on the fact that we know that that's going to be patched probably tomorrow, and that could make all the difference.
So we can
But
make a
as of
runner
right
up.
now, yeah, I think as of right now, Alvo's the clear winner, and I think that Star Wars Pinball should be a runner up. And for those of you who don't understand what that means exactly, the reason why we do Game of the Month is basically it's a nomination process for Game of the Year. So at the end of the year, when we do the 2021 show and we're talking about what's the PlayStation VR Game of the Year, we'll go back and look at all the winners of the Game of the Month throughout the year. But in some cases where we feel like maybe a game isn't finished, or maybe our minds could change over the course of the year, we'll pick a runner up so that we can revisit it. So even though a game doesn't win Game of the Month, they're still alive when it comes to Game of the Year. Now, that being said, I will remind everyone that in January, Hitman 3 came out on PlayStation. So it's probably all for naught anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Uh all right. Well, I guess that wraps up the PlayStation VR, right? So
Yeah, unless we have any adamant disagree, adamant anybody who adamantly disagrees in chat, I feel like Alvo number one and Star Wars Pinball should be runner up.
yeah, I think Diz has got the right idea. It's just pretty much none of these are game of the year contenders. So sometimes you get these, you're like, okay, it really isn't going to make a difference, but you never know. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll be raving about Alvo, and it's hands down the best game, and it's better than Hitman 3. And I know I just made myself sound ridiculous, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be the game of the year as well.
Well, I am doing the smart thing here and writing it down so I don't have to come back and
Yeah, well, if you don't know, Wes, he said that twice, actually, 2 years in a row. He said, I'm going to keep record. And then he just had to go through every episode. And as amazing and fun it is to watch old episodes of yourself and me doing this, it took how many hours? It's insane amount of time.
uh, volumes up. Joining the chat says six stream, guys. Thanks for joining us here in the middle of the night or whatever time it is where you're
Yeah,
at.
it's definitely middle of the night for me. Almost morning.
Yeah, well, it's for sure. So let's move on to Oculus Quest since it's almost morning. And Sion getting all mathematical on us in the chat here. Don't You're going to scare people away, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking I'm doing math homework again.
That's the YouTube algorithm.
That's the algorithm. Somebody write it down. Let's figure it out.
Anyway, Oculus Quest, no shortage of good titles this month on Oculus Quest. We started on the very 1st of April when Floor Plan 2 dropped from Turbo Button. Roots, I expected that I would like this game. I did not expect how much that I enjoyed this game.
Yeah, I want to know, did your kids play this game yet? Like I see some of these games, man, I just think of your kids because they're like at the perfect age for all of this stuff, man. This is it, dude.
I'm not sure if they have or not. They kind of have free reign now that we have a second headset. I just went ahead and turned the game sharing on that second one, and they just come and grab it when they want to play it. I'm not sure what they're playing.
How cool is it for your kids that they get to play like stuff like Demio and like stuff before it even comes out, right? As long as
Hey,
they
dude, my son was playing Dash Dash like 6 months before it hit the store.
That's so cool, right?
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. Um,
But
but
yeah,
it's a it's a good situation. Sometimes it blows my mind um, just how made they have it. You know what I mean? Compared to the way it was when I was growing up, like these kids live in a wonderland.
yeah, I had to harass my parents just to take me to go rent a Nintendo game or something stupid, right? I wasn't getting games left and right for sure.
Right. Yeah, right. I I think I got to buy like 2 games a year. I got one for my birthday and I got one for Christmas. And then like the rest of the games that I played, I either played at friend's house or we had to go rent them.
Yeah, renting was so cool back then. Now it sucks. Actually, there's no way to do it anyway. So
Well, GameFly,
that's
I've got
true.
ret- I've got Returnal on a rental right now.
Yeah, I guess that's actually that's the only way you can do it now.
Yeah, it's a good thing too. That's a $70 game.
Yeah, Aylin Kara, thank you for reminding me about that. Okay, that's the only thing that I can say I did not like about this game. I didn't want, I mean, thumbs up, bro. And I get that that's how you communicating, but it's like every 5 seconds, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I wanted to shove that thumb somewhere where, uh, anyway, it was
I
definitely
think we just
frustrating.
I think we just found our downvoter roots.
Oh, yeah. Aylin Kara's like, you know what? I'm thumb down this crap, bro.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not thumbing up. Never again.
Yeah.
Anyway, I enjoyed floor plan too. Thumbs up, notwithstanding. I felt like the puzzles were clever. I felt like there were some good humorous moments in it. I liked the expansion of the original floor plan concept into fully explorable levels, even if they weren't big. It was nice to get off the elevator, and it was nice that there was more than one elevator. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, is this on? This isn't on Viport, right? It probably will be eventually, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
But
it's not right now anyway.
what a great deal Viport Infinity is. Just throw that out there right now.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it is. So speaking of amazing roots, we move on to our next release on the 8th, exactly 1 week after floor plan released. We got Swarm from Green Sky Games. Now this is a title that we were anticipating heavily for a long time. This was supposed to be a 2020 release. It got delayed based on the fact that the developer wanted to deliver uh, their vision, their original vision for this game, and they didn't feel like it was there yet at the end of last year. So they did the right thing and they waited. And I got to say, Roots, I'm glad they did because these guys delivered a masterpiece of an arcade shooter.
I don't know. And then some people like Cyan will say it's because it's arcade. Hey, Mateo. Yeah, it's got something in there for Mateo. He would say that's not good because it's arcade. I would submit that this is one of the best games I've ever played in VR, if not the best this year. It's definitely amazing that I'm still learning tricks on how to like pull in one way and different ways with that with those grips, man. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can do it, and it's very, I would imagine, realistic. I mean, I don't know, I've never swung around with grappling hooks, but physics seem real, so really good.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too. Is that the physics do seem accurate. If this were a realistic situation, I imagine that this is what it would feel like. The way that you pull up slack in it and then regrip to add tension back into it, it feels so good. And that's not to mention, the variety of weapons, the variety of enemies, the boss fights, the scaling difficulty, the awesome looking levels, the hilarious story, and
The
the
music,
beautiful everything. Everything about this game is good. There's no weak point in it whatsoever. So yeah, I fully concur. This is one of the best releases of the year.
yeah. And listen to this, Drew coming through to the chat here says, Swarm was dope. Comment on his most recent live stream video for a chance to win a free copy. It's only 20 to 30 people in the drawing so far. So if you haven't gone to Delirium Drew VR's channel yet, dude, you could get this game for free, and this is the game you want to play. Although Aylin Kara says they think they're the only one who doesn't like Storm, and I'm gonna say doesn't like. I'm not gonna say hate because how could you hate this game? It's so good, man.
Yeah. Radio Rat says Swarm, the sport of the future.
Yeah.
That it already has his vote. Not so fast, Radio Rat. Not so fast. It's not a slam dunk. But I will say this is a great game, and yeah, go to Drew's channel. 20 to 30 people entered. This is a $30 game, and again, like Rich just said, it's uh, you're hard pressed to find a more fun experience on that standalone hardware than Swarm.
Yeah, that's just I put it on a AAA level for a developer. I don't know if is this their first game that they've put out on VR or it's just that.
It's the only one I'm aware of.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad they waited too because it's just so good.
Yeah, absolutely great.
Yep.
Two thumbs up, Island Cara. Anyway, moving on. Some 1 week later after that, on the 15th, Resolution Games brought us their take on Carly and the Reaper Man. And if I had to go from a pure gameplay, time elapsed, time in game, uh, this might be the one I spent the most time in this month.
you
I have played me a lot of Carly and the Reaper Man.
you play it with your kid, right? Or one of your
Yeah.
kids? Yeah, that's
Hmm.
so cool, man. This is one of the best co-op games out there. It's only one of its kind, and ironically, it wasn't this way on the other platforms. Is the way it is on this platform is the way it should have been for every platform. Um, and it's kind of a shame because I wish I could have played it like this on the PC VR because it's so good to have
Yeah.
both people in VR.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Both players can be in VR, and if you don't, if you don't have two headsets or another player that owns the game, uh, one person can play on flat, and the cool thing about it is they can download it for free just so that you have someone to play with. Resolution Games provides a free download on PC or Android for those who need another player, which I thought was a super cool twist.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
But again, it's fun. It's good times with the family. Um, I've spent a lot of time in it this month. I would say that I'll probably spend a lot of time in it next month, but well, as you know, games are coming up. Multiplayer games are coming up, and I don't know. It'll probably be on to the next.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right?
Yep, that's how it is. That's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
Diz the Game Cat says, "Can you play this with two headsets on the same account?" Well, the way we do it is you can do Sony style sharing, which means you can designate one of your headsets to share your titles with other users, and you can add up to four other users on there. So my secondary headset, the one I just picked up, I have the app sharing turned on, and while every game doesn't support the app sharing, most do. And Carly and the Reaper Man is one that does. So as long as you have multiple users on one of your headsets and you have the app sharing turned on, then all of those other users will be able to play your copy on that headset.
I'm
So
so
yeah,
glad
that's how we play it.
so glad I don't have to deal with that crap, Wes. No one lives here that wants to play with me, so I don't have to worry about it, man. That sounds like a lot of work. Although it sounds like a lot of work that's worth it, especially when you got multiple kids. Any way you can save a couple bucks here or there, that man, that's the difference, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of buying multiple uh, copies of games anyway to play with people inside, under my roof. I'm a kind of an old school gamer where two players was just another game mode, right? And I don't feel like because the hardware has changed form factor that should change anything. I mean, like we're still talking about someone playing on my equipment, and I already have to buy you know two consoles now, and that's what this is basically. It's a VR console. I already have to buy two of these now and spend $300 more just so I can play two players on the hardware. Now you want me to buy your game for an extra $30? I don't think so. Yeah, I've been struggling with the fact that Pop One doesn't allow app sharing, and we want to play it, but I mean, I'm a principled man.
Yeah, well, I wish I had it on Steam. And then you'd be able to just family or share my copy, and then you'd be able to play it that way. Well, I guess now it's Quest anyway, right? That's what they'd be playing it on, probably.
Right.
Oh,
Well, we do have two PCs though. I guess we could probably figure out a way around it.
yeah.
Well, Verizon says App Share is amazing. I play co-op with my kids constantly as well. Not as much as they'd like. I play with them a lot, but it's literally every day. And if I played with them all that they wanted, then there would be no channel. Like we would never have anything new to say. We would just be Carly and the Reaper Man and Dash Dash every Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe it's Wednesday night, man. Well, have you played your Carly and the Reaper Man, right?
Tomorrow, I told her because you know what we've had going on today.
Yeah.
I told her we'd get back in it tomorrow. So
Oh, so
that's
she's really enjoying it, huh?
yeah,
That's cool,
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
She just likes playing games with Daddy, and I like playing games with her. So
Now, Scion VR has a good point, but it doesn't understand quite. Says he doesn't believe in paying money to play online. That's old school. Never played WoW for that reason. But see, I never had a problem paying for my membership for WoW, and I'll tell you why. I've played enough free to play on online games, and the support is shit, and the gameplay is shit. And that's one of the reasons why when Tech app showed me some game that for us four to play together, I saw it was free to play, and I was like, nope. I'd rather pay $15 a month and have like dedicated servers and updated. They keep stuff up. World of Warcraft is still one of the best MMOs out there, and definitely worth $15 a month if you're into that type of game, in my opinion. So
Diz the Game Cat, does App Share require multiple Facebook accounts? Now, this I don't know. I know that all of the accounts that I've set up have been Facebook registered accounts. Now, if you have an existing Oculus account, can you add it to your Quest 2 as another user? I don't know. Drew says no, that it has to be a Facebook account. All of my kids had Facebook accounts anyway for Messenger, so it wasn't anything for me to just move their stuff over.
yeah, true.
All right, all right. So here's where things get interesting, right, Roots? Because on the 22nd of April came Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife from Fast Travel Games. So we just reviewed this game last week, and we both pretty much said that it's in the upper echelon of horror games in in VR, and it was a completely sincere statement on my part. And I think Roots liked it even more than I did, which was kind of nuts considering I'm the horror guy.
No, yeah, it was really good. It was actually definitely one of the best horror games of this type that I've played since Resident Evil 7. Kind of like in between the top tier and the tier below, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. It's only the Resident Evil sevens out there that I feel trumpet
Hmm.
because even though I put it kind of in the tier with the Exorcist and the Paranormal Activities out there, I feel like it's better than those games because the story is so much more nuanced. The gameplay is way more nuanced, and it should. I mean, it's better sounding. I feel like really the only thing that those two games have on this one is photorealism, and not to say that this is a bad looking game. So I feel like it is better than the games that I kind of grouped it with, but I still wouldn't quite put it up there with your Resident Evil sevens, your Here They Lie, your Rush of Blood. Those are still the cream of the crop, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely good. And I mean, those are like you said, they're cream of the crop. This one was still really good.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Now,
held my attention to play through it. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
says something, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a short game.
Well, and that was one of the things, and that's one of the I was talking to Mash Daddy earlier about this today, and he was making the case, and I was kind of agreeing with him that that there's a flow problem, or that there's an issue in the way the game flows. He said if any game that you have to play 3 or 4 hours to get to the good part, he said that that's it. There's an issue there. There's like, because most people aren't going to wait that long to get to that point. That they somehow should have pulled you along a lot better, or somehow did something different. I don't know what they could have done different. I mean, the game is amazing as it is. So if it's not broke, why fix it? But and I say this about Asgard's Wrath, which is way, way, way longer. But if the majority of people never make it to the end of your game, what is happening? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that the majority of people won't make it to the end of this game, but there's a good potential that they don't make it to 2 hours because they think this thing is slow, bro. And then they return it and then they miss an amazing game. So it's kind of a weird, that would be the only knock I would say on this game is it doesn't flow as well as it probably should. Um, and that being said, I don't make horror games, and you know what I mean? Horror games are like based on tension and build up. And so I could be completely off base in that respect as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't take into account the PC culture regarding these types of games. You got 2 hours to impress people, right? Or else they're just going to get their money back. It's so easy to get a refund on PC that you really got to wow people in that first couple hours. Not to saying that it wasn't cool in the first couple of hours. It certainly was. The story was awesome, and the environments and the sound design is fucking amazing. Um, but the gameplay doesn't come along until much later. So um,
I'd say once
yeah,
you hit that seance table and you have to go start looking for stuff, that's when things get crazy, right?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. But when you find those first group of things that you need, that's when it really gets nuts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, great game and certainly a deserving nominee.
Yep.
Then we wrapped the month up as we just spoke about with Star Wars Pinball from Zen Studios. Um, I guess I'll have to defer to you on this one, Roots, as I did not play the Oculus Quest version of this game. But I got to imagine it was probably superior to the PlayStation version in many ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then again, I didn't play the PlayStation, but from what you described, for one, I didn't crash after every table. Definitely superior in that respect. And I didn't think the graphics were bad. I mean, I thought the graphics looked really good. I still want to see the PC VR version, um, and hopefully it's cross-buy, and then I'll be able to do that. But if not, I'll be talking about like you, maybe picking it up on sale. But definitely a really good game, and I just don't see it making the list with the other two on there, man. It's just that the other two were so good, bro.
Right. So Acidex says, "How long is Wraith?" And you're asking the right questions here. How long? You know who else asks that question all the time?
My
Oh
mom!
yeah, she's curious, bro.
How
She keep
long is
bugging
it,
you too
bro?
if you don't answer.
Anyway, it's 8 to 10 hour story campaign.
Yeah. So you get,
It
I
picks
mean,
up around the 3 to 4 hour mark.
yeah, almost halfway, a little bit before halfway, it starts to pick up. And like Wes said, to be fair, it's not like you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs. The story is really engaging. The way they did it, super cool. Um, Amazing acting. Like you might as well have been watching a movie almost with just how the voice acting was so good. So
Yeah, yeah, it was very good. So I think it's a two-man race, right? We've got Swarm from Green Sky Games. We have Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife. How blessed are we to have two great releases in 1 month? But there can only be one Roots, and this is the way I look at it. Out of these two games, there's one that I barely played on Oculus Quest because I preferred it on PC. And then there's one that I almost exclusively played on Oculus Quest because I preferred to play it on Oculus Quest. So I think that while we certainly have a situation here where we have a winner and a runner up, that we're going to definitely revisit both titles at the end of the year. I think Swarm gets the nod from me for the Oculus Quest game of the month based on the fact that I played it more on the Quest than I played it on PC.
Yeah, it's all about the wireless, right? And even when I wanted to play it on PC VR, I played it through the AirLink or through virtual
Right.
desktop because it's so good to be wireless. But I also 99% of the time I'm loading it up on the Quest version just because it's easier and there's really no downside to it. It's not any graphically any better really on the PC VR version versus say, like you said, with Wraith, there were improvements on the PC. So
Yeah. I take it as you are agreeing with me
yeah,
here.
absolutely. I would say Swarm and runner up for Wraith, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For Oculus Quest, I think that Swarm gets the nod from me, and Wraith is the runner up.
Aylin Kara does not like Swarm at all. F Swarm. But they really like the Star Wars, so pinball, and so we pretty much just nixed. You're down. So I get it, but it makes me crack up. Swarm is an amazing game. I don't know, what is it you don't like about it? Is it I guess if you're not into arcadey games, but man, the gameplay is just so much fun, man. It's a waste of time. Oh man, you're ripping my heart out. I question your soul, bro. How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh, but yeah, I get it. Diz the Game Cat. When are we getting an update on the Beat It challenge? Actually, we haven't had talked about that for a while, and I've been neglecting my Beat It challenge. I need to get into some games for that.
This is how neglectful I've been, is that I've been playing through games and not recording them, so I can't count them on the Beat It challenge. So yeah, well, we certainly do need to revisit that sometime soon. It's just been
Crazy.
we haven't had a half a second to fit it in anywhere. I mean, we've had like stuff every week that we have to talk about. So like I don't know, man. Hopefully soon we can get in there and
Get a
talk
breath of
about it a
fresh
little
air.
bit.
Yeah, Wolveraza says, you know who else gets the nod from him?
My mom!
Oh, yeah, she does.
Thanks,
Come
guys.
on, man.
Thanks.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Thanks, Wolvie, for the $3. Thanks, Diz, for the two. Putting it to good use, I promise. And I'm sure
Soon.
Diz knows. Diz is on the Patreon, so I'm sure that he already knows what the score is.
Yeah. Well, Sion, we need to get back in there for some more Solus Project. And Mash Daddy, he what was it? I forgot what I was gonna say. Something about what you just said, but I lost it, so it's gone.
Which, uh, which now that I think about it, Wolvie might be on the Patreon too. I don't know.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Well,
Mash was looking at what we posted on the Patreon, and he gave a thumbs up on it.
yeah, yeah. I was hoping that he likes it. Acid X is on there. You guys go check it out, man. Check out the Patreon this past week. We put some interesting things up for you guys to uh to give us your opinion on. Anyway, let's move on to PCVR because well, we've got 5 games on there as well. We're gonna move through them kind of quickly because
It's all the same stuff, mostly.
we've yeah, we've talked about them all already except for one. So It's pretty much a repeat of the Oculus Quest titles. We started off the month with Floor Plan 2. We got that one on the first. 1 week later, we got Swarm, and the week after that, we got Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife. Rounded out the month with Star Wars Pinball, and this is where things get a little weird. Um, I don't know, Roots, if I should be including this game in here right now because while VR Skater is very popular and people have had nothing but great things to say about it, I feel like this game is very much the epitome of an early access title. It just hit early access on the last day of April. But typically, when a game goes into Steam Early Access, we count it in the month or the game of the month discussion. But I think last month we we discussed that we reserve the right to kind of make the rules up as we go regarding early access, app lab, and side quest stuff. Um, so, what do you think, Ruz? I mean, this is a very popular game, and in most months, even in its current state, it would be enough to carry game of the month. But I don't feel like it's quite there yet. But I feel like a few months down the line, this game could get full release and have a lot more content, a lot more levels, a lot more polish, and be worth considering at that point.
Yeah, well, I think when we talked about this, especially specifically games like that are early access, is the reason why we even considered not counting certain ones on a case by case basis is because something like this that is amazing, um, is it's kind of like it's shortchanging it. It's not in a position to where it's ever going to do anything, but it's an amazing game, but it's not. It's this is so early access, Wes, that this trailer says early access alpha. You know what I mean? And I saw that everybody was making videos about this and everybody was raving about it. I went and I thought, well, I'm gonna go maybe buy this, right? Well, let me check it out. I went to Steam and I read some of the reviews and people were saying, I mean, a lot of people were raving about it. And then there was one that stopped me dead in my tracks. And it was like, man, this thing is so empty. It was like you just go from one side to the other and this and that. And so I started thinking, okay, well, it's alpha. They're gonna add so much more. I mean, would I want to buy Tony Hawk Underground with one level? No, I want the full game, dude. You know what I mean? So I totally exactly knew where you were going, and I would say that that probably is a good idea to possibly. I mean, it ain't gonna win, dude. This isn't winning
No.
this month either way. So we're doing this game a service by holding it off. Um, and I think it's a good idea.
Right, right. And Diz, the game cat, agrees it's too early for VR Skater. He says, Traveling Man 3775, it's not ready for an award yet. Um, but that said, Scion has a good point. He says, I mean, go ahead and add the early access title and then just revisit it if it changes drastically when it launches into full release. And I think that that's probably the best path forward. We've got it here on the list this month. It's not going to win, but we reserve the right to add it again at a later date if it changes drastically.
Yeah, it's funny, Wes. I didn't want to buy it. I want to play it. I just don't want to buy it for one level. I'll still play a level if they want to send me a key. Although Deficit Games, I will tell you, I am a little put off by the upside down T that looks like an upside down cross, but that's just me. Other than that, I love the game. So
I want feet. I want feet on my
feet
board,
would be
bro.
nice. Feet that would give you a little bit of immersion, right? Make you feel like you're actually
Yeah,
on the skateboard, or instead of
not
being the skateboard.
not just hovering over a skateboard with controllers hovering over a skateboard.
Yeah, yeah. Although, man, people rave about this thing, dude. So I love Tony Hawk skate games. I bought the remastered, so um, definitely would love to play this game eventually.
Yeah. Oh, apparently the gameplay mechanics of this thing are fun and addictive and intuitive.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's the thing. And that's exactly what Wolveraza said. The game mechanics is the trick. more levels will happen soon, and that's the main thing. I would rather have the gameplay be there and have one level, and then have the 20 levels and the gameplay sucks, because then the game sucks. The game is
Right.
amazing. It just needs they just need to create more. And now they've found that people love it and people have invested in it, and now they have a reason to do it. So I think it's going to be an amazing game.
Well, Veraza says using feet would take a lot more. Yeah, I'm not really talking about using my feet. I just want to see them in the game. Like, instead of just looking at a board, I would like to see feet, if not entire legs, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When we're playing Wraith the Oblivion, you're looking at your arms, right? Bloody and whatever. Why would it not make sense to look down and see your lower body, all the way up until where your torso would be, and you see legs, or however they do it. And I guess if they never change anything and they make an amazing game with amazing levels, I'll deal with it. But I agree with Wes. I think would add immersion to look down and see legs, just like you would want to look down and see arms. Imagine if you're playing a game where you just saw your controllers, and like Wraith the Oblivion, you don't see your arms. It's just two Oculus controllers. I
Right.
think people would probably say that's weird. I don't think feet or legs should get a pass.
Well, it's a little bit different. Because I mean, I can deal with floating hands or even floating controllers sometimes. But the whole thing that really makes it different with the skater game is that you're constantly looking where your feet would be,
It's true.
and they're not there, and it's just a board, right? Just like a magical possessed skateboard flying down the road and doing all sorts of tricks.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a magic skateboard. I
It's
like
the
it.
ghost of Bucky Lassick doing doing a tape for
Oh
everyone, right?
God. Well, you better do a good job, man. Everybody's watching.
Anyway, so that's it. That's the lineup for PCVR. There were other games, by the way, guys. There was a good month for PCVR. There was well, what was there? There was traffic jams this month that I didn't put on the list. There was the the indie games came out this month. That what was Speedy Gun Savage came out this month, and Vape came out this month. There was a lot of stuff that came out this month, but these were the top ones. And much like Oculus Quest, I think it's a tale of two games here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a tale of two games. I 100% identical as the last one, except flipped.
I think you nailed it right there, sir. Because one of these games I played mostly on PCVR, and one I played mostly on Quest, and while the Quest version of Wraith was certainly uh, you know close to the PCVR version, there was certainly a noticeable upgrade when you moved over to PCVR.
Yeah, yeah, and just subtle ones, even just the cracks in the walls and doing stuff. And then just the lighting as well. And everything that we said about it in the Quest version stands. Amazing acting, really good, amazing gameplay, and the story was good. And having Wraith be the winner of the PCVR and having Swarm being like a runner up is I think the way to go.
Yeah, I agree with that. A bit more immersive for Wraith on the PC. A little bit more detailed graphically, and cleaner. A little less shimmery in certain areas, and yeah, definitely a superior version.
And let's be honest, if you're playing Swarm on the PC VR tethered, it's not the same. It's an amazing game. You'll still have fun. You'll really love it. But trying to turn with a joystick or trying to manage your cord and not get tangled up in it gimped me big time. And all I wanted to do was play wireless. And that's why when I did play PCVR, it was after that, it was always through AirLink or through virtual desktop. and that just tells me that Swarm is just pretty much needs to be wireless.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it was pretty much impossible to play this game tethered.
Yeah.
Like, and really, unlike Wraith, there wasn't much advantage coming from moving to PC on this game. They're fairly identical looking games, Quest to PC. I'm not saying it's bad looking; it's a very good looking game, in fact. But maybe it's different with Quest One, but Quest Two to PC very similar, almost exactly the same. The only difference being that pesky cord wrapping around your ankles, because this game's too fast to use the stick turning on. You have to turn physically.
Yeah, absolutely. Aylin Kara says I'm given I'm given headaches with the Swarm talk. So good, bro. Like it's just the best game ever created.
But
And
again,
I question your soul.
PCVR game of the month, not Swarm.
Right. Yeah,
Wraith.
Wraith.
The Oblivion Afterlife is the PCVR game of the month for April.
I think the problem is Star Wars is the pinball game didn't make it in there at all, and that's probably what gave the biggest headache. And it's, it should be in there, but it's one of those things when your game comes out and there's just so many amazing games, it sometimes can get lost in the shuffle, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, one thing, it probably would have helped if we had tried Star Wars on PC.
No, that's
Probably
true.
would have been a big game changer. And it's just bad timing, man. April was a strong month on every platform, and I feel like if Star Wars had performed on PlayStation, we would have had ourselves a conversation on our hands. And you know what? You know what? I need to pump the brakes here a little bit on PCVR because I made a mistake.
Hmm.
I made a big mistake, Roots,
Uh-oh.
and now I'm confused because we didn't put Mass Maker on the PCVR list, and that's where I played it, and I loved Mass Maker.
Well,
Um,
see, I did notice it because I'm pulling scenes. I just assumed, I didn't even look. I just assumed that maybe because sometimes we'll have staggered releases, right? And maybe it came at the beginning or the end or didn't make, was that in last month? So I just assumed, um, definitely should have been, Scion. Missed. He
I
says
cha-
missed.
I changed my vote, Roots, because I didn't like playing Swarm on PC because of the tether. Uh, but I love Mass Maker, and I feel like it deserves to be
For runner up.
recognized later in the year.
All right, so let's hear from the chat, and we already know where Aylin Kara is going to go. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that we should forego Swarm on the PCVR for that for
Mass
Mass
Maker.
Maker? And I guess it's kind of a mute point because I'll agree with you, and we'll just we'll just put it in there. But I'm curious to see what you guys think as well, because Swarm's
Yeah,
already
who played
getting the
Mass
Quest
Maker?
version.
Yeah, who played Mass Maker, and did you enjoy it as much as I did? Because I thought it was very good. I feel like one of the best, you know, in terms of storytelling, one of the better games that we've seen this year,
Yeah.
and maybe the best production value wise on PC this year.
Yeah, it was definitely really good. And that was one, like I even said it was I felt like I was watching a Disney movie or something in the beginning, right? Like it was just really good. Like the acting or the just the way it all went, right?
Yeah, yeah, the voice acting, the I mean, it's a beautiful game. The not just the voice though, like all of the audio, really good. Like the music and
It just seemed
just
really
everything.
triple A. Yeah, it just reminded me of like I was in a like a Disney movie or something. Because I think that's exactly what I said when we first talked about it, right? Yeah.
Wolby says Swarm wins on Quest for sure. Yeah, yeah, Swarm wins on Quest. We're talking about PC though.
Yeah, but ET
Uh,
2K9 says Swarm on PC takes away from the experience, and that exactly is why Mask Maker would slide into that spot. So
right, All right. And Drew says Swarm a top 10 quest game. Yeah, yeah, I think that it might be a top 10 quest game. It might be a top 5 quest game, to be honest.
It's it for me. This is me personally. It's the best quest game I've played this year. It's just and that's what I say every time somebody says, "What should I buy for the Quest 2 and the Oculus 2 group that I'm a moderator of?" I tell them two things: Crashland and Swarm. Those to me, those are the two best games that I've played for me that I enjoy. I'm not saying that they're the best games that have came out. I'm just saying that I just think those two games are AAA, really amazing games. And for me in 2021, it's all about the gameplay. It's I'm shifting, you know. So
Zion says, I mean, you can play Swarm wireless on PC VR if you want to. No, bro, it's not weird, real wireless. You have to get a $300 dongle to have real wireless PC VR. This is just fake wireless, right?
yeah, it's just fake, bro. It's because especially since it was free. Now the Airlink's free, it's not even real. Although some people say it's better. I don't know. I depends on what you consider better, but it's definitely um something that's built in that, and that's what the reason why it would go off the PCVR list is because it's for a lot of people that are going to play this, a good majority of people that are going to play this, they're not going to play it wireless on PCVR. They're not going to be able to. They're going to play it wired, and they're going to have a gimped experience, and it's not as good as the Quest version or the wireless version for sure.
Right. ET2K9 now says, I see stutter when I use the wireless. And Acid X agrees that it should be Mass Maker on PC. But here's the thing. Not, I mean, of course, there's what we've already said, right? That, I mean, who's really playing Swarm on PC? If you've got the Quest, you might as well just play it on Quest. What's the point? It looks the same. You don't have any latency if you're playing it on Quest. So
It's
why not just play it
cross-buy,
on Quest?
and it's
Right,
cross-buy, so why
right.
not? Unless you're going to
But then when we
record or stream it.
but then when we talk about Mass Maker, not only are we talking about some of the highest production value that we've seen in VR this year, we're talking about a PC exclusive. I mean, it's on PlayStation, but it's certainly not on standalone. Um, so I feel like this is a PC game,
I agree.
right?
I agree, and I think that's a good save, Wes. Man, we almost blew it, bro. Didn't even think about Mask Maker.
I'm gonna bring it back up here, bro. Mask Maker, son.
Swarm will be dead in 6 months. Alien Kara. I don't think so, bro. My thing is the gameplay on Swarm is so good that I've not had anybody except for one person tell me that they didn't like it, that they played it and they said I just didn't like it. Almost every single person has been raving about it. Radio Runt saying it's a game of the year. And then everybody that I recommend it to come back and like, dude, you were so right. This game is amazing. So maybe I don't know. How long did you play it? Did you play it for? I mean, do you still own it, or did you return that shit? Um, because I would have returned it if I hated it as much as you. I feel bad if you got stuck with it. That sucks.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's just it's Chinese to me how somebody don't like that game.
But I mean, that's just a perfect example that everybody's tastes are different. And that's why I said what I said about the two best games, Quest, hands down, 2021. That's my personal opinion. It's what I've enjoyed, what I really believe. But not everybody's going to believe that. Some people, maybe they hate arcadey games like you or Scion. It's probably garbage, right?
Here's the funny thing is I'm not sure that I
You're
like
the one.
Swarm. I'm not sure I like Swarm more than I like Crashland. To be honest, I love Crashland.
Well, they're so good. That's why I'm saying I put them both up there as the best games. And they both do something unique in different ways. A Crashland, man. I want to. We need to talk. I want to interview that guy or something, man. He is genius, bro. Whatever he's doing, he needs to make more games.
Ocean Rift, Ocean Rift coming to Oculus Quest.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
nice. Oh, you got it for free in the beta. Okay, so did you play the actual game or did you play the beta?
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
I think we got our answer. I think they said that played it for like 15 minutes. I think is what what the chat said earlier.
Well, they teach.
Drunk, 15 minutes drunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, give it another shot. Oh, see, Delirium Drew says you MFers, he's buying Crashland right now. Drew, you are not going to be disappointed, bro. You are
No.
you're gonna come back saying, dude, I don't know why I didn't buy this a long time ago. And it's $20, dude. Like it is worth way more than 20. There's very rarely do I say that they should charge more. And that's one of the games where $20 is a steal, I think.
Yeah, and it's all in the perks, Drew. It's not just it's not what it first seems. You got to get into using those perks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just constantly unlocking, man. It's just one of those things where, I think I'm doing good. I feel like I'm God. I'm just killing everything. I've got everything going, and then all of a sudden the wrong thing hits me at the wrong time and I'm getting stuck, and then stuff swarming me and I'm dead. And it's like,
Yeah.
I've never played a game that I've enjoyed so much that I finish a level and I'm like, oh, man, that's freaking ridiculous, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so ridiculously hard at times, but it's so satisfying to finally beat it, So,
That was some line, and I'll just say that everybody hit rewind 10 seconds back, and there's a my mom joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to do the mental gymnastics to make it work because we are about out of show. So again, to wrap it up, game of the month, PlayStation VR Alvo with a runner-up from I think we picked Star Wars Pinball for the runner-up, did we not?
Hey, so
I
your
think we
pinball
did.
made it, dude. It made it.
Yeah, there you go. Oculus Quest, we had Swarm as the game of the month, deserving winner with Wraith Afterlife as the runner up. And then on PC, Wraith Afterlife was the winner, PCBR game of the month, with Mask Maker coming in as the runner up. Again, with the first impressions at the top of the show, Star Wars Pinball, a bit better than I thought it was going to be, but largely what I thought it was going to be, with the exception of the performance issues on PlayStation, which are going to be patched out very soon. And then Zombieland Headshot Fever, very surprising to me just how good this game was. Not only on how good it played, but how good it looked and sounded as well. It was pretty good all around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alien Kara clarifies for us. Cyan wanted to know if they were a girl or a guy, and they identify as a Mandalorian, and I completely respect that 100%.
All right. So yeah, do you have pronouns that you prefer? Because I totally went they them a minute ago out of respect, which is not something that I do for everyone. So I must like you, Island Kara.
Me too. We don't hate you.
Anyway, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If we got it wrong, leave a comment. Thumbs up, Kara. Give us a thumbs up. If we got it wrong, leave a comment or two. Tell the algorithm to go stick it up its ass. And again, if you're new to the channel, hit the big red button, hit the bell. Content on content on content coming, guys. If I don't crash immediately, if my bed doesn't become Crashland in 5 minutes, we're going to have a Demio video ready to go at launch the minute it goes live. So stay tuned for that. Tune in on Sunday to get our extended thoughts on the latest game from Impulse Gear. Somebody tell me what the name of it is again. Larcenauts.
Ooh.
Tune in for our extended thoughts on that. I've got a few ideas that you probably won't hear anywhere else on why things are going the way they are there. And again, big thanks to everyone who left a donation, and thanks to everyone on our Patreon for continuing to support the show. Link in the description if you'd like to join the crew. And if you're already on the crew, go check out some of the posts that we've left this week. Pretty epic indeed. With all that said, if you'd like to continue the conversation, it goes on all day and all night on the Discord. Invitation in the description. Maybe you want to talk VR. Maybe you want to talk live. Maybe you need people to play Demio with you tomorrow. Guarantee there's going to be people in our community looking to play Demio tomorrow. So click that Discord link. Come and join the
Conversation.
family.
Yeah, come
join the
home.
conversation. Come on home.
Yeah.
Don't you know you're home? Remember Adam Sandler fighting the golf ball? Go home. That's your home. Don't you know you're home?
I loved Happy Gilmore.
Anyway, with that all said, we'd like to thank you guys once again for staying up late and watching. So, with that said, for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take it easy.